So you might have seen conveyor belt sushi, you might have seen conveyor belt hot pot, but one thing I haven't seen yet is conveyor belt dumplings. Now imagine you sit down and there are dumplings from all over the world, such as pierogi, empanadas, ravioli, pan-fried Asian dumplings. That's why I'm starting a restaurant. It's called Take a Dump. I'll see myself out. I'm back. It's my kitchen. I'm staying. You leave. Okay, so now we're gonna go over how to make pan-fried dumplings. This is a crowd pleaser. It is not that difficult actually, and I got into it because Mom said she loved dumplings growing up, so I said, well, I'm gonna learn how to go do this. So I've practiced a lot, and I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks on how to make pan-fried dumplings at home. Let's do it. All right, let's go over the ingredients you're gonna need. Firm tofu, 1 sweet onion, a bulb of garlic, some green onion, hoisin sauce, teriyaki also works, some cornstarch, and all-purpose flour. For the equipment, obviously a cutting board and a knife, a small bowl with a lid, a non-stick skillet also with a lid, a rolling pin, a dumpling press if you have one, a stand mixer with a dough hook. If you don't have one, a deep bowl works just as fine, and a wok if you have one. All right, let's get started with the dough first. You can totally use a big bowl if you happen to have one, but I'm a big fan of investing in tools that save you time, so I'm gonna use a stand mixer. It's super easy. All we're gonna need is 1 cup of all-purpose flour and half a cup of boiling water. First, we're just gonna add 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Now I'm going to take a half cup of boiling water, slowly add it to the mix. Okay, I have my dough. I'm going to flour my surface first. And it's a little wet still, so I need to knead this out. And I'm gonna show you how I knead dough. This is how I learned. Here's how we're gonna do this. We're going to put some flour on top, and how I learned how to knead dough is you're going to give it a little bit of CPR, a little push, 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 fold it, turn it 90 degrees, same thing. Push, 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 cool. Fold it, turn it 90 degrees, same thing again. Fold it, turn 90 degrees. We're just gonna keep doing this for about 10 minutes. So now I'm just forming it into a little ball. Let's see if it worked. Cool, I'm fine with that. All right, all I'm gonna do, put in a little bowl, let it chill out. All right, mise en place, let's get everything ready for the stuffing of our dumplings. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut my tofu. We need these in cubes. Now, this is 10 ounces of tofu. You do not need this much. You only really need about 1/4 of a pound. Hey, so how I'm gonna take this fried tofu? First, I'm actually gonna do a cage method. I'm gonna cut this in half, like that. So I have 2 pieces, okay? I'll do one first so you can see. Then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my knife and I'm just gonna draw the blade, the tip of the blade back. And I'm protecting my fingers by keeping my fingertips curled in. There we go, beautiful. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go the other way. Same thing, just moving back. And that's what I want. I want little rectangles, little squares. Cool. That's what we want. All right, so normally we only need about 3 cloves of garlic for this, but I like garlic a lot and I don't like things going to waste. So I'm just gonna use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna use lucky number 7 cloves. All right, let's talk about how to get this paper off really easily. I'm gonna take my knife and just using the palm of my hand, smash it. There we go, comes off, cool. I want to arrange my garlic cloves in smallest to largest, roughly, because we're just gonna go down the line. So because I'm right-handed, I'm gonna start down the line and work my way down. So I'm just going like this. Okay, when I get to the end here, I'm gonna flip the garlic piece so that it's flat and do the same thing. Okay, now I got these big chunks here, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make them smaller. I'm just gonna take my blade. In the zone, cutting garlic. Once you've minced this garlic, we're just gonna put it in a little bowl. Next one that's easy, scallions, green onions. I'm going to arrange these so that they are at the same height. or the same starting point. And all I'm gonna do is I go through. I'm gonna save some of these for garnish on top, so we're not gonna use them all. Now it's time for the onion. This is a fun one. So we're just gonna cut it down the middle. I have 2 halves. Okay, because we're gonna do a dice, what I'm going to do, we're gonna do a fine dice. I'm gonna take off this skin first. Okay, hey, I'm gonna keep this root here because you're gonna see how we're gonna do this. We're gonna have a fine dice, so I want that root so everything stays in place. I'm gonna take my knife, I'm just gonna cut along the longitude lines of this onion first. Then we're gonna cut in, make some horizontal cuts, and then we can finally do a very fine dice of this one. I'm just going, I'm looking over my blade. Cool, so I've done these lateral cuts. Now I can hold the onion together and I can finally do some horizontal cuts. And I'm not going all the way to the root. Now I can make my fine dice. Look at that, it just comes together. And when I get to the end, I just flip it. All right, well now what we need to do, we need to get our wok nice and hot. So I have it set on a medium-high heat, and I'm gonna let it sit. I'm gonna let it sit, do its thing, and we're gonna test it to see when it's ready. Pan feels pretty hot, but is it ready? Well, I don't know. What we're gonna do is we're gonna throw some water, and if the water just evaporates really quickly, it's not hot enough yet. We need the water to bead. You see how those little orbs of water form? That's what we're looking for. We are ready to go. I'm gonna put in some neutral oil. First thing I'm gonna add are my onions. I'm just gonna stir them around a little bit. What we're looking for the onions, we're looking for them to become very translucent. And with onions, we wanna start a little high and then drop the temperature, make it a little bit cooler so it can slow cook, get that sweetness out. Now this has come down a little bit, so it's looking clearer. Now I'm gonna add in my garlic. Same thing, we're gonna let it go. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna add my tofu now. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm taking my wooden spatula. I like to use wooden spatulas because they don't conduct heat and they don't scratch. But all I'm doing, I'm feeling around for sticky spots. And I'm just making a little circle, scraping that off if I find sticky spots. Now it's time to add some hoisin sauce. I'm gonna add about 4 tablespoons right now-ish, eyeballing it. Hey, you can always add more. So add a little bit, see how you feel. Add more, see how you feel. And I'm only adding enough to coat every piece of stuff I have in here. I'm gonna turn the heat off. Okay, so now I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of cornstarch just to thicken this up a little bit. And I'm gonna add my scallions. I'm gonna add everything except about 1/4 of this left. I want that for garnish. Let's see how it tastes. And more salt. That's great. So I have our dough from before. So I've reformed this into a nice soft ball. Man, if I had a nickel for every time I said that. 35 cents. And now what I'm gonna do is I need to cut this. We need to make them even smaller. So I'm gonna cut this into, let's do 1/8. Even smaller, because we gotta get these super thin. Now, we're gonna take our rolling pin. I'm actually gonna dust my rolling pin down first. I'm just gonna go out a little bit. You see how it sticks there? That tells me I need to dust that a little bit more. Cool. Yep, this feels super thin. Now how this is gonna work, I'm gonna show you one way. If you have a mold like this, you can put it there. I'm gonna take a spoon of my filling. You don't wanna overstuff. Don't worry about, less is more. I'm gonna take some water. And I'm going to coat the edges. We're just going to close, pick it up, close, great, rip off that excess. Voila, we have one down. Hey, what if you don't have kind of a mold that you want to use, a little cookie cutter? Well, we could do a little bowl. I'm gonna do a bowl. Let's rip off this edge. Let me show you how to do this by hand. I'm gonna flip this into my hand first, just like that, like a little taco, a little tortilla. Take some, put it in my hand. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Take some water again, like we did before. Coat the edges. Okay, now when I close, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to use my thumbs to help me out. My primate thumbs. I'm going to push in, fold, push in, fold, push in, fold, squeeze. I'm gonna get a little dumpling, a little cute dumpling like that. Okay, we have our dumplings, we have our dumplings ready to go, and I have a non-stick skillet for this. So how this is gonna work, we're gonna very quickly pan fry the bottoms. We're gonna drop about a tablespoon of water, put a lid on it, because the steam is what's gonna cook the dough for like 30 seconds. And I actually don't want this to be super hot. I'm gonna set it to like a medium heat. Cool, we'll let that get started. Let's get moving. Okay, we're gonna add. And you hear it? I'm using, that's telling me we're doing well. There we go. That steam is what's gonna cook it. All right, 30 seconds have hit. Let's take it off. Let's go see. Oh yeah, moves around. Feels pretty good, feels pretty good. I think we're done. There we go. Boom. There you go, we did it. We made dumplings. So let's go give it a shot. Mmm. That bottom crunch, beautiful. With the hoisin sauce combination with the sweet onion, fantastic texture. There you have it. We made dumplings. Hey, I would love to know what fillings you come up with, what you like. This is one that I like to do, but you do you. And next time you think about taking a dump, I hope you think about John Lee. Other people do, honestly, so you're not the first.